Hi, my name's Dr. Brantlass and I wanted to introduce you to the Motherhood Unplugged 2.0 Summit. A little bit about the why. So I spent 5 years of my life researching what makes a difference between success in adulthood for our children and their childhood. And predominantly two things came up. The first is basically the relationship with the mother, how much they care, how much they protect for their children, obviously. And the second was sense making, things that they do with the children, the time that they can spend with them doing from make-believe play had a high relationship towards their future happiness, their future success, and their leadership ability. And then what I ended up doing, as well as the quantitative research, is I did qualitative research, and I spent a lot of time with mothers, and repeatedly what came up were factors that stopped them. So although things were actually quite obvious, or they got techniques of how they could really support their children, they actually had no time and they didn't have the right environment. So that leads me to introduce you to Marilen Montenegro, who actually is the founder of Marilen Styles. And she creates the most wonderful environments that don't actually have to take a lot of money, but just perfect styling tips that give you the right environment in which to live in. From little boxes in your wardrobes to how you host your space that you're in. And I know you have favourite styles. Secondly, you're a busy mum of two yourself.
Yes.
And three, you made a lifestyle change that came from the corporate world, or very public corporate world of being a TV host, through to what you do today and the impact you're making in the world. The final thing I want to say is, as a global summit, it's lovely to have someone from Asia. In the last couple of days, I've been interviewing many people from the US, Canada, and Europe, but you actually bring a more global perspective. So welcome.
Thank you. Awesome. It's a privilege to be here, and I'm really excited to be able to share my experiences and my passions about motherhood, what has worked for me, and how I am still learning. I'm not perfect, and we all aren't, but we can all help each other to be better moms.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the key things that's come up in a lot of talks, actually, that non-perfection and no longer searching perfection. So we'll delve into that. So first of all, what do you love most about being a mum, Marilen?
What I love most about being a mom is being needed in a very innocent kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You have children who just need you, who look up to you, who want to be with you, and that's just a really awesome feeling. It makes you desire to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
In every aspect. It makes you want to take care of yourself. It makes you want to excel professionally
mm-hmm.
or work-wise, and it just empowers you, really.
Yeah, these two little human beings. So you've got two, right?
Yes,
boy, girl?
I have two. They're 7 and they're 5. So my son is 7 and the daughter is 5.
Okay.
And they're just adorable, yeah, of course.
So how did they change your world? So they came into the world, how did they define you how did you define yourself since becoming a mum?
Everything used to be about me and my husband.
Mm-hmm.
The moment they came, it was a surreal experience. Like I had an infant needing me 24/7, literally, when they're newborn, right? Yeah, and they grow up and suddenly the world becomes so much bigger in the sense that it's not about you.
Yes.
You start worrying about them. You start thinking about them. You stop buying clothes for yourself and start buying things for them. It's totally life-changing.
So there's really a bigger purpose, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And what challenges did you face? So you had a career change. So were there challenges that you faced in that? Because you bring the two human beings into the world, and as you said, they need you in an innocent way, but they need you, right? So what challenges did you face?
It was quite challenging. So I came from a modeling career in my country where I would do shoots for magazines and television commercials, and I also hosted a bunch of TV shows. And then I got pregnant, and I had a beautiful baby boy, and I found it really hard to adjust in the sense that everything's new about having a baby. You don't know what you're doing. You have I was fortunate to have my mother to help me out in the first few weeks, but then everything is just something that you have to learn. You're learning, and the process of learning can be difficult. So when I had my first baby, I could not bring myself to go out of the house for long periods of time just because I found it so difficult, right? Like the bag and the stroller and the crying and the changing of the nappies and all that. So I had to learn to live at home and still be happy with it and totally love taking care of my baby, which I did. Then came my second child, my daughter. She came as a total surprise. So I was in the middle of taping a TV show, which was a franchise from the US. I was part of the Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Oh, yes, I know, yes.
Yeah. So they had an Extreme Makeover Home Edition Philippines, and I was part of the design team. And we had started the series. I wasn't pregnant, and we would go to the slums, just giving people a new home, wrecking the house, and just giving them a new home and designing a new home for them. Then mid-season, I had fallen pregnant, and because it takes a while for the tapings to finish, because you have to build the houses, right? It takes like maybe 2 weeks to build the houses. We didn't finish that season until I was pregnant already and all that. And it was quite interesting. I had to cover up with my clothes, and then the baby came. Then I had to be breastfeeding, or I had to be pumping in the
Studio.
in the van, in the location and all that, breast milk and all. So it totally changes your life, but for some reason you adapt.
Yes.
You learn, you adapt, and you make do with what you have, and you don't just make do, you make the most, so that you're still that super mom, you're still that super person that your children eventually can look up to one day.
So what changed, or actually you learned to adapt, or what changed that you came? I mean, actually that's quite inspiring in terms of, okay, I've got these challenges, and I think if I remember Extreme Makeover from the US, I don't think it's in the UK. I mean, it's a huge show and you make a difference to a lot of people's lives as well in terms of what you're doing. But I can imagine it's hefty your side. What changed? So moving from that to what you do now, because you're making your own difference in your own entity, right? What changed?
What changed from then to now, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I had the desire to be present in my children's lives as they were growing. And that is still a passion and advocacy that I believe in today. And so when I had children, I was looking for something to do where I would not have to take so much time away from my kids.
Yes, okay.
And that is why I put up my own brand, Marilen Styles. It's a lifestyle blog. I put that up, and I didn't want to be stuck in an office. I wanted to be with my children. I homeschooled them. I saw them grow up, just enjoy everyday life with them, because life is so short and you miss wonderful moments when you're not around. And so that has changed from being like very independent myself. I suddenly have 2 children that need me, and I find myself changing in the sense that I had to adapt, and I had to make my own brand, and I had to make my own strategy to accomplish my dreams.
Okay. So I think it's 2 things you said, which is to be present, but also your dreams, your passion, your dreams, and you combine those. Are there any opportunities that came up that you could grab that helped you in that?
Yes, definitely. So even after I had kids, I didn't let that stop me from achieving my dreams. But I was very selective of what I participated in, of the endorsements that I did, and of the time that it required of me. So I was very selective, and I still took on like some TV shows or some TV guestings afterwards. I have my own interior design business too, and I made that work. And this is how I did it, because I was homeschooling my children from 3 years old to 6 years old. I would homeschool them in the morning, and I would have my interior projects and meetings to attend in the afternoon, and they would be with me in the car. And just being together in the car, listening to children's songs, educational songs, sometimes watching videos in the car, reading them books, just being together was...
So you're homeschooling half the day, right? So you homeschool half the day and you work half the day? Huh?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And so is that going well?
They're already in school right now, because we really just wanted to homeschool them for the kinder years.
Okay. Okay. And so, are there any tools and advice that you would share? Because I'm also half because the Switzerland education is that you go to school till you're 11 o'clock in the morning, which isn't very much. So they needed something. But any tools and advice that you would want to share on homeschooling or other pieces?
Oh yeah, homeschooling. It's amazing. The internet has so many resources that super moms out there have put together and have created. And I just, I do my research, I print, I download, I create my own activities. But really, it's all about catching the little moments in life, the magic moments. And by spending a lot of time with your kids, you get to catch those magic moments, and you get to impact them for the rest of their lives. So you get to you get to spot a moment where you can talk to them about sharing, or you get to spot a moment where you can talk to them about bravery, or you can teach them life skills that they don't really learn in school, things like that. So it's when you're with them, be with them. And I am guilty of this. Sometimes I'm on my phone, like checking email or checking social media, but I'm really trying to make it a point to spend time with them. My son calls it mommy time. So every time he comes home from school, we sit together and maybe just watch TV or read a book, and he says, I need mommy time, and we just cuddle. My daughter, she'll say, Mommy, can I lie down with you in your bed and just cuddle? So those are really precious moments that we need to cherish. And of course, do your own research, use the internet for inspiration, and then formulate your own strategy with regards to motherhood according to your own convictions.
Yeah. I think that's part of the relationship, part of the attachment. We talk about being present, and we talk about mummy time. And that whole connection is at the root of their future relationships, their future stability, their future ability to orientate in their life, in the world. What's your focus now? What's your focus now? Your focus now?
My focus now is that I'm continuing to grow my brand, my blog, marilenstyles.com. I'm focusing on a webinar that I want to offer. It's all about decluttering the home and styling, because I believe that if you have a neat and organized home, it lessens stress in the house. So being an interior stylist and being a mom, that's Marilen Styles is where I blend both worlds. So I'm able to give tips on interior design in my blog, and I'm able to talk about children in everyday life and how you should teach your kids to be organized and neat. And I offer tools and ideas on how that can be achieved. And that's my focus now. I'm really just taking things one day at a time. With regards to work, it's growing my blog. I also put up another Facebook group called Inspired Women Global. Yes. And my focus for that, or my desire for that, is to inspire people. It's a community where women can come together and empower each other to be the best they can in their careers and in their businesses. So it's more of a digitally focused endeavor, so that people can help each other to grow their business.
So empowering other entrepreneurs or businesswomen.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so moving from kind of the mother, the attachment, which was very critical, and also then your experiences to sense making. So as I touched on before, sense making are how we make sense of the world, just different types of play, from reading to active play to sports play to make-believe play. What experiences do you want your kids to have that grow them and make sense of the world? And you started to touch on some of the things before about picking up on those moments and building characteristics, which they can't teach you in school, or just in school. What experiences do you want your kids to have to grow?
I want them to be able to experience life in a slow pace and be able to look at nature and enjoy life and just be amazed. So back home, my parents live in a farm, and it's just awesome and amazing. And when the kids are there, they love it. They pick chicken eggs, they play with the baby goat, they feed the geese, they pick fruits, and they just go outdoors and they enjoy. So I think that's important, because it's not really all about school. It's not all about learning. There's so many other ways to learn. And they learn about life, they learn about nature, they learn about God and how God has created the universe, right? And all that. So that's what I want them to learn. At the same time, I also want them to learn independence. So there are a lot of times, and there have been a lot of times when my children come to me and say, "Mommy, can you open this?" Or, "Mommy, I need help with this." And I say, "Try it first. Do it.
Okay.
Try it. If you can't do it, then I'll help you, because I want you to learn how to do it." And I say, "This is what you do. Hold it this way, and tear it open," things like that. So I think it's important that they learn how to do things themselves, and that's what I also try to focus on.
Okay, so independence. And so there's two last questions. What is the one thing you would want pregnant you to know before becoming a mum? So if you could kind of go back in time 7 years ago, or sorry, pregnancy was almost a year, right? It's 9 months. If you could go and whisper into your ear, what would you want pregnant you to know before becoming a mum?
Okay. Prior to being pregnant, when I was working really hard and modeling and all that, I did not take care of myself in terms of my diet. I would skip meals, or just, have something really quick for lunch, and it wasn't always nutritious. Maybe, we all know this. If you're cooking for yourself, you don't want to cook, right?
Oh, I love cooking.
Prepare the easiest thing, right? So when I had gotten pregnant, I wasn't used to eating meals, or I wasn't used to cooking for myself, but I knew I somewhat had to eat more, you know what I mean? And my body wasn't prepared to get pregnant or to carry a baby, in the sense that the time before that was not the healthiest period of my life.
Okay.
And so that's what I wish I could tell my pregnant self. Like, you should take care of yourself more. You should eat better. You should eat healthier food, so that the baby is healthier after, and you have an easier pregnancy and all, So, yeah, I mean, when my son was born, I did everything correctly. He was breastfed and all. But when he started turning 1 year old, he started getting cavities
Oh.
And then the short of the story is he just has weak teeth. Whereas my daughter, who grew up exactly the same way, was breastfed the same way, I did the same things to them. She has the best teeth ever.
Oh.
And I really think it's because of my diet. So when the baby was being formed, I didn't have a good diet. But after my son, I had started taking care of myself and eating really healthy. And so my daughter has
That's
really
interesting,
healthy.
yeah. So my mum many years ago always said, you know, that making sure that you eat, because the baby takes everything from when you do want children. You know, the babies, I mean, they take everything from us. Our bones, our hormones change afterwards. I don't know what happened to my memory, but I'm even though mine are now 4 and 6, it's like something went. They also took something from me in terms of my memory. I still suffer with mummy brain sometimes. Okay, that's interesting. So I think actually that's a good thought for the younger generation, even before you consider having kids, is what we do to our bodies now is that's the body for the children later on. Mm-hmm. You touched on something actually. You said your mum came, and maybe this is my ignorance. Is there something in the Asian culture that your mum does come and stay with you, don't they? I mean, my mum came and stayed with me because she comes from Centralinan culture, but I thought that was also in the Asian culture that your mum comes.
Yeah, I think it's in the Asian culture. I mean, my mom maybe stayed with us for 3 nights, and it was really helpful. It was my first baby. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, my parents came as well, but I when I was reading something, I'm not too sure what I was reading. There was an article that the parents come and they help, but they actually stay with you as my mum did as well.
Yes.
But it was my mum's from a tiny island called Centralina, but it's culturally, they come, which is great. Because I really needed that, as well. But I thought it was also a cultural thing that I wanted to pick up on. Mm-hmm. Okay. So finally, is there anything you're doing that excites you that you wanted to share back with the audience? I know you have something for them.
Yes, I do. So I created something that is called the Complete Home Manual.
Okay.
It's a really pretty 20-page printable, which I designed myself, and I personally use it. So what it's got is that it's got everything from weekly menus, where you can write your own menu for 4 weeks and not have to, keep on thinking, what should I cook for dinner? What should I put in the kids' lunch boxes?
Yes.
So it's a visual printable. So you have weekly menus, you have a master grocery list, cleaning schedules for the home, and important phone numbers, emergency contacts, things to remember about the children, kids' activities, everything you can think of. There's even a section for those who have babysitters and house help.
Wow.
There's a section for the babysitters and house help to fill up so that you know a little more about them. And at the same time, there are specific instructions for them to follow. And so I printed this whole manual out, and it's displayed in my kitchen wall. And it just really helps me to run the house smoothly because everything is visible and I can see it. And it's not just, scribble and post-its or bond paper.
It's pretty.
Really very pretty. Like designed really nice and pretty.
Okay, so everything to keep the house organized. Yeah, so actually I haven't downloaded mine yet. I'm going to download because we have that whole situation in the house. They're all on different schedules, and we have a nanny because the kids finish at 11. So it's kind of a must if you choose to work in Switzerland. There's no real childcare even at school age. I'm definitely going to find that useful. So thank you. And you mentioned you also, so you have that. You also have the webinar coming up on what date?
Yes. So I have the webinar coming up. It should be up by the middle of November.
Okay, so middle of November.
And that's all about decluttering and styling every part of your home. So we go through one room every week, just so that it's not overwhelming and tiring. So week 1, you do your bedroom. Because I believe that once your bedroom is neat and tidy and pretty, then you wake up and you see, oh wow, I did a really good job with this, and you'll be encouraged to do the rest of your house, right?
Yeah, it's make up your bed in the morning.
Yeah. So it's a webinar. I have visual information that you can print and download, and I have actual videos that you can follow to teach you how to do the specific things that I am teaching.
And you can join from anywhere in the world. Is it running around this time, or what times are they, or it's at any time, or?
Anytime, definitely. So you just sign up and go at your own pace.
Ah, okay. So you can do it from anywhere in the world.
You do it at your own pace.
Okay. It was fantastic having I know we've been talking back and forth, but fantastic interviewing you, Marilen. So thank you very much.
It was very much fun. Yeah, looking forward to seeing the whole thing come together.
Yes, I will send you everything as well, because there's been so many interesting interviews with people, and it's really a very passionate, powerful group of mums who are changing the world. So it's amazing.